What's up, everybody? It is February 1st, 2026, and today we're going to be diving into the upcoming weather pattern to see what the weather has in store for us. I'm sorry this Apple Music thing keeps jumping down there. Stop doing that. Stop doing that. Stop it. Alright, it should have stopped now. Anyways, I am sorry I did not post a video last night. Go check out the post page after watching this video. I explain everything there. And also make sure to stick around to the end of the video where I do a special extended forecast. Back to the forecast. Looking at our 2-meter temperature anomaly in Fahrenheit, we can see that there's tons of Arctic air down in the southeast, while the west is favorable for some very warm air. And if you stick around, you'll see what I mean by warm air. Looking at this, wow, this is disgusting. If you live in a vast majority of Montana, vast majority of the Dakotas, and a vast majority of Canada. And as we scroll on, there's some Arctic shots headed for the Great Lakes region and into the northeast. Those eventually dissipate. In the west, it's definitely cold. There's some isolated Arctic shots. As we scroll on, though, if we max this out, you can see there's some Arctic air up here that might give the west a turn. So make sure to comment down below #ArcticWest in the comment section below, and I will make sure to read your comments and maybe reply to them. Looking at our 2-meter temperature in Fahrenheit, you can see that there's it's very cold east of the Rockies, and you'll see what I mean by east of the Rockies later. As we scroll on, you can see that sorry about that. It's done this in many videos, so if you're an OG, you probably know what I'm talking about. I'm so sorry it keeps doing that. I'll try to fix it. But in the meantime, let's do the forecasting. We can see that there is even approaching 60 or 70 degrees, no pun intended, no 6-7, in Washington and Oregon. And a vast majority of, wow, man, we might even be approaching 80 here in Southern California by Los Angeles and Arizona. As we max this out here, though, it does get colder, and in some days it does still approach 60, but then we cool back down, and you'll see why we cool back down in a minute. You can see this Arctic air that we saw up here on our past run, it starts to show that, and you can see it actually gets very cold here in the mountains out west. So let's hope that this happens. This will be really nice if it does, because people out west, including myself, need a turn with Arctic air. Looking at our 168-hour precipitation total in inches, now 168 hours is the equivalent to 7 days, so it's 1 week, not a work week, a full week. Let's max this out here. You can see there's absolutely tons of precipitation in the Pacific Northwest. So I'm talking far northwestern California, western Oregon, western Washington, and parts of Idaho, as you can see right here. This is nothing to be concerned about unless you're in an isolated spot up in the mountains. You could see up to 6 inches of rain. I don't think it's going to cause anything. If it did, it would be minor. So this is nothing to be concerned about if you're one of a couple 100,000 people who live here. Looking at our cumulative max 10-meter wind gusts in mile an hour, we could see there's a system right here that could bring several 100-mile-an-hour winds, but this is nothing to be concerned about. This is off the coast. This is an oceanic event. And even as we max this out here, wow, the runs are changing. Let's look at, okay, we're going to look at all these states individually, don't worry, but this wind is actually starting to affect Maine. Okay, let's see. You guys can see my cursor, I'm pretty sure. States. Maine, where is it? Maine. There we are. Here we are. We could be approaching 70 miles an hour right here. 61, 75 miles an hour right here is my best guess. Looking at here, you could see these grays are like 72 miles an hour for right there. Just off the coast here, if you're on like the coast, could be really windy there. All right, let's go back to continental United States. Don't know if I'm saying that right, but we've got a few other states to look at. Let's see. Let's go to Colorado now. Let's go to Colorado, right here. Colorado. And the Rockies, you could expect, there's this isolated spot of white, which is 84-mile-an-hour winds. So get ready for this. This does look more widespread. So this could be bad. This could be really bad. Wyoming, I also saw some wind action. Look at that. That's a widespread potential power outages may result with very high winds resulting. The great state of Montana. Let's do it. Very widespread, even 57 here in eastern Montana. Up here, oh, look at that. Look at that. Hashtag 67 in the comments. Look at that. Look at this number, 67. Haha, so funny. That is going to be very bad winds. Look, there's also some isolated spots where it shows 84 miles an hour. So that could be very damaging winds. Widespread power outages may result. So this is not anything minor. This is something that could potentially be a big system and impact a lot of people. So make sure you get your generators serviced, ready to go. Make sure they're working. I don't know if this is going to happen for sure. Again, I can't say 100%, but as the days get closer and closer, we'll find out. And now look at Washington. I also see some wind action happening there. Let's go to Washington. Washington, where are you? Here we are. Washington. There are spots. I don't think there's any 6-7s, at least yet. I mean, I see some 60s. Even down by the Seattle area, it could be 57 miles an hour. And closer to the Cascades, it could be even 68 to 75 mile an hour winds, especially down here. Not much, a little bit less for eastern Washington, so I'm talking Spokane and stuff. I don't think it's going to be like anything east of the Cascades. It's going to get... I think this system's mainly western Washington, so this could be very bad, and many power outages may result. Back to our United States. Here we are. So I just zoomed in on pretty much every state that's going to be impacted by wind, so let me know in the comments if I missed anything. Finally, our snow depth in inches. This is not the extended forecast. It's almost just around the corner. We can see there's tons of snow for the mountains out west. This is actually today on February 1st. Yes, it's February already. I know, it's crazy. Tons of snow, especially in this isolated spot right here, upwards of 30 inches. So, also not to mention right here, could be some very heavy snow. If you're shoveling snow, make sure that you are taking breaks, you're drinking water, you have appropriate clothing on, because frostbite is potentially a threat if it's cold enough, especially during a cold snap. Make sure you take breaks. Don't get heart attacks. Hospitals during snowstorms, actually, fun fact, they see a lot of people coming in for like heart pain and stuff. And that's because they've been shoveling too much snow, like we see here. So please be careful and take breaks, drink water when you're shoveling all this snow. It has tons of potential to be dangerous. Looking at our extended model. Let's go, baby. If you sticked around, thank you so much for sticking around. This is the extended forecast that I was talking about. And there's still one more cool thing that I want to show you in the future of today's video. Looking at our European extended ensemble mean, we can see as of March 4th, there is tons of snow for the mountains out west, and also some snow for the great northeastern states. As we go to the end of our run, this only increases. And yes, we can go to 46 day. Even more snow, especially for the wonderful lobster state of Maine and the Great Lakes region, with those lake effect snow machines turned on. And also, not to mention these snow machines out west. There's snow machines here by the Great Lakes, and there's snow machines out here just because of the mountains and higher elevation. Also acts as a snow machine. So this is going to be a lot of snow. Like I said earlier, if you're shoveling it, make sure to take breaks and drink water and stay warm. Looking at our control model, 46-day control, there's a little bit less, unless you're, like, I would say the control model is showing a little bit more snow for the eternal, more central United States, but our run that was 5 runs ago showed this. So this was maybe a little more snow than our latest run. So let's hope that these control models update and show some more snow. This is the moment you have all been waiting for, the cool forecast. This is Pivotal Weather. I just switched from Weather Bell to Pivotal Weather. Sorry, Weather Bell doesn't show this. We've got freeze watches. Sorry for zooming in. We've got freeze watches In Florida and parts of Louisiana here. I believe that's Louisiana. Oh, no, it's not a freeze watch. It's a freeze warning in Florida, man. What the heck? That is crazy, man. I mean, it's February, and they're getting a freeze watch down in Florida. That is... freeze warning. That's weird. We've also got some flood watches and flood warnings in effect for Washington. And I see a speck of green by the Texas border. We've also got high wind warnings still out. Also, some high wind watch for Wyoming here. I guess this is a high wind warning for isolated spots here in the Northeast. These grays in Washington and California are dense fog advisories. And then we've also got some purples, which is winter weather advisories. Looking at our CPC outlooks, 6 to 10 day temperature outlook, we could see east of the Rockies, even in the upper Midwest and Great Plains region, it's pretty above average, while the Northeast is very cold. Looking at our 8 to 14 day temps, yes, it does get milder, but it's still not great. Looking at our 6 to 10 day precipitation, it's actually drier across the country, but it does change as we go into the extended. That is just about all the weather talk I've got for you today. Make sure to like and subscribe. We are 2 subscribers away from our goal of 20 subscribers. So if you have not subscribed, make sure to do so right now. Also, like the video while you're doing that. Share this video with friends and family, and I will see you guys this afternoon.